Hello, fellow fleet and mobility players. So fleet management covers a lot of aspects. Among them are carrying out proper maintenance, both preventative and repairs, of course, and implementing technology to help fleet manage your operations and determining whether or not electrifying is a good idea for your fleet. So giving us some insight on this today is Mike Dickinson, who is Vice President of Sales at Cox Automotive Mobility Fleet Services, formerly Dickinson Fleet Services, and they are covering fleet management in the United States. First of all, I know you have 24/7, 24 hours service, mobile service. Could you tell me a little bit about your 24/7 services, your on-site mobile service, and what's being offered and how does it work?
Yeah, sure enough. Again, thanks for having me today. Cox Automotive Mobility Fleet Services is a nationwide U.S. based, as you mentioned, 24/7, both scheduled and unscheduled maintenance. Both on site and in shop. Our largest footprint is our mobile footprint, where we have over 850 mobile trucks across the U.S. As mentioned, doing both scheduled and unscheduled repairs. So a lot of preventative maintenance. When I say scheduled, preventative maintenance, driver vehicle write-ups, routine type, predictive type maintenance that we're doing on site at our customer's location. The unscheduled repair is roadside breakdown, vehicle issues at our clients' yards or their clients' yards. So, both, scheduled and unscheduled across the country, and at a customer's lot or on the side of the road.
Are there aspects that maybe they like if I was a fleet manager, that would be very convenient for me, but are there aspects that maybe that cannot be done at my location?
Well, absolutely. There's repairs that you don't want to do on the side of the road or even at your lot. The bigger repairs, and in those instances, our fleet management team will either schedule that with a third-party vendor, a local shop. If it's a warranty repair, schedule it with the OE to get that warranty repair made, or in the markets where we have our own shops, schedule to get that work into our shops to get those repairs completed.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, yeah, the larger repairs. With technology going on today, digitization seems to be more apparent in fleet management nowadays. And what are you doing in regards to this in order to help fleet managers?
Yeah, so absolutely. There's more and more telematics, more and more reporting that the vehicle's providing. As I mentioned, predictive maintenance, in addition to the preventative type maintenance. So, we are working hard to stay on the forefront of that. All of our technicians are paperless. They're on an iOS device that we call TRAIT. It's an acronym for Technician Reporting and Information Tool that we can tap into and get direct feeds from telematics so that our technicians can see when vehicles are having an issue and be proactive in maybe going out and getting the parts so that when we arrive on site, whether it's a scheduled repair or an unscheduled repair, we're in a better position to diagnose and fix that vehicle than coming out cold. So, in addition, from a telematic standpoint, we can, work with that fleet to do better scheduling of preventative maintenance. So we're getting feeds on mileage, feeds on engine hours, so that we can, help them with the scheduling of the work they need to have done.
And what about electrification? So there's a lot of talk about electrifying. The OEMs, the manufacturers, they're making announcements. I guess I'm writing about this almost every month. Something's going on. How do we know when if it's good for your fleet or not? Should we electrify or not? Could you give me a little bit of insight on this? And also, I understand you guys deal a lot with EV battery management. So how does this also influence operations?
Yeah, it is the sexy topic to talk about is EV, and it's not if but when. It is rapidly gaining adoption. I see it much more on the smaller vehicle, final mile type vehicles. than the Class 8 over the road. And there's Class 8 trucks that are electrifying, and fleets that are, looking every day at their carbon footprint and trying to create more sustainability within their fleet, and see EV battery is a big solution there. The infrastructure to support that is way behind the technology that's being developed, and so I think we're several years out before the EV battery solution overtakes the combustible engine, especially on the larger vehicles. But there's a lot of fleets and a lot of data and a lot of information that's that's out there for fleets to better understand the cost of electrifying their fleet, and the savings that they may have on maintenance, the savings they may have on fuel, versus the expense of going to an EV solution and creating the infrastructures, the charging infrastructure to support that. So, while we are continuing to stay on the forefront, we've created an EV battery, an EV and an AV lab at our training center in Indianapolis. So autonomous vehicle and electric vehicle training lab. And we are continuing to make sure that our technicians are on the forefront of maintaining those vehicles. I really don't see it in the medium and heavy duty space overtaking the traditional combustible engine for several years.
So like you're saying, there's a lot of challenges, a lot of things we need to overcome in order to make this a transition to the electric vehicles, I guess for now, last mile mobility within the city centers and stuff like that, and then let's see how it happens within the next few years. We just have time for like one tip. Can you give one tip? So efficient vehicle maintenance, of course, can reduce downtime in your fleet and operations. Could you give us one tip on how to accomplish this efficient vehicle maintenance?
Yeah, I mean, any vehicle maintenance program, the cornerstone of any solid maintenance program is preventative maintenance. Timely and thorough preventative maintenance. And I think fleets a lot of times defer the preventative maintenance because the vehicle's running, they don't have a lot of spares, and they don't want to have the downtime to put that vehicle into a shop for preventative maintenance. One of the benefits that Cox Automotive Mobility Fleet Services has is we'll come on site to do that preventative maintenance in the after hours when that vehicle's down and is not being utilized. So the cornerstone of any maintenance program, we've always said, is thorough and consistent, timely PMs. And I'd say tip number two, and I know you only asked for one, but tip number two, really quick, is a really good driver vehicle write-up program. If all you're relying on is the preventative maintenance, which is being done maybe once every 3 months to keep that vehicle up, to keep the uptime of that vehicle there, you've got to lean in on the person that's in that vehicle every day and make sure that they are trained and are completing thorough pre and post trip inspections, regardless of the classification of vehicle, whether it's mandated or not. Having that driver and then have a good process to get those write-ups to the technician, the repair center, so that they can make those repairs happen, will ultimately reduce your spend, because you're going to catch repairs when they're small and not when they're catastrophic. So, great PMs and a great driver vehicle write-up program, and training those drivers on how to do that is the cornerstone to any good maintenance program.
Yeah, so the viewers out there, so you heard it from Mike. So preventative maintenance, not only in cars, I think in other aspects of your life, you need to be kind of proactive and not only reactive in order to get the best out of your maintenance. So before we end, I'm just going to tell the viewers out there, so for more on what is happening in around the world in terms of fleet and mobility, including a bit about fleet electrification, what we have here, you can download The World in 2022. It's one of our latest ebooks, and you can find that on globalfleet.com.